Boom goes the dynamite.
I wait for you every time.
I don't
Like,
know.
how's Jamie going to start this today? He always comes up with something clever, don't you? Johnny's in studio. Welcome, Johnny.
Thank you for having me.
Here's Johnny.
Here's
Here he
Johnny.
is.
Johnny Muresan. Did I say that right, man?
Yeah, you're close enough.
You know, say it.
No,
I want to be
that's,
perfect.
that's the way you say it in Canada.
Okay,
sure.
give me the
It's Muresan if you want to. If you want to be fancy.
Ooh. Do you want me to try it? You
I
try
don't know, Mike. I might blush if you say it like that.
Johnny Muresan.
Pretty good.
Is that better? I'm
Yeah,
so
you
fucking
made it a little
Canadian.
from European to Middle Eastern, but it kind of works.
I'm so sorry, bro. It's Johnny.
I'll stick to
Johnny,
being
eh?
caker.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Man, welcome. We have a little tradition here where we do a ChatGPT intro.
Okay.
So let's see how the internet did here, okay? Our next guest has built his identity around doing hard things. Publicity, consistency, and with intention. Johnny is an endurance runner, creator, and mindset-driven athlete. And he's also a dad. Through long-distance running, discipline, and daily accountability, Johnny has built a community around that resilience, self-mastery, and showing up even when the motivation just isn't there. What makes Johnny's story compelling isn't just the miles he has run, but it's why he runs. His journey about his identity, routine, mental toughness, and the quiet work that happens when no one's cheering. He uses endurance not as an escape, but a tool to sharpen discipline, process, and become more present as both a capable father and man. At its core, Johnny approaches mirrors what we talk about a lot on Shit My Dad Taught Me, doing the unglamorous work, learning through repetition, and understanding that the habits you build are the lessons that those kids absorb. Today, we're talking mental endurance, pushing limits, discipline in everyday life, fatherhood as fuel, and how we're doing hard things shapes the men we are. Johnny, welcome to Shit My Dad Taught Me.
I love watching you read the notes because you skip words, you add words, you say words wrong. Like you said publicly, and it's
What is it?
You said publicity, but it's
Right.
publicly.
Oh, yeah, that's a different
I'm gonna
word.
work.
That's a
But
different
I just
word.
love watching it
And
as
then
you're
I
reading
skipped
along.
this
It's
too.
like skip these 3 words, add in a couple others.
I'm not a strong reader.
I mean, it was good though.
I'm not a strong.
I wanted some background music. It felt like
Yeah.
I was in church or something. Yeah.
It is good though. I
Johnny
love it.
enjoyed the conversation.
And you called me an
I
athlete. So
literally, if you watch the camera when you're doing it, I'm literally like smiling and grinning.
You know, maybe let me just do Jamie's real quick, and I'll do it off the cuff. No. So my apologies for my partner, Johnny. He runs a tight ship over here. How did we do on GPT, bro? What did we get right?
you did pretty good.
Yeah?
You called me an athlete, so you guys get win brownie pick.
Yeah.
The internet won't like that, but they don't like referring to somebody that looks like me as an athlete. But we had a big controversy a couple weeks ago, but I love it. It's funny.
Okay, well, let's spill some tea. Let's start.
Well,
right
you can't
there,
be
bro.
fat and be an athlete. That's
Bro,
that.
You would run circles around
Yeah.
me. I guarantee you
I
that.
did this thing where I was like, I'm fat, but also athletic because there's things that I do at my size that a lot of people don't do at my size, right? So I was like, burpee box jumping and moving around and jumping around, and like, you can't be athletic. If it was a skinny person doing that, I would have called you athletic, but because you're overweight, you can't. So I did like the next one was a handstand push-ups on the wall, and they're like, I'm like, is this not athletic? No, you can't be athletic if you're fat. So
You could say I'm not in
Fuck
shape,
that.
but you can't call me not athletic.
yeah,
yeah.
and I'm like, athletic is subjective, and I'm a washed up athlete,
Comments are
so I love it.
man. And of course, it's the one in the comments that
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, put your hand up if you've run a marathon.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Come
right?
run with me. Come
But
run
see,
with
that's
me.
that's the break in the mold, man, which is
Yeah.
one of the many reasons why I wanted to invite you in today. So maybe let's go right back to the start, man. Tell me a little bit about being a kid.
So I'm the youngest of 9, immigrant family from
9
Romania.
kids.
Yeah. My parents escaped communism in the late 80s, came to Canada. And then I was born, I had 5 siblings at the time. Then one of us was born on the run, and then the last 3 were born here. So I grew up in a real big family, 9 kids in 9 years, like mom and dad, just one after another, they came walking out kind of thing.
God bless
so-
your mom.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I got 3, and I'm like, they're like 3 years apart. And I'm like, how do you do this every single year? You get pregnant for 9 years straight? And God bless my dad for dealing with a pregnant lady for 9 years straight.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
But no, I had a pretty normal childhood. Like, my kids are immigrants. I mean, I guess not normal to most people, but we were a close family. My dad's a pastor, so we traveled. He had a pastor to church in Toronto and a church in Windsor at the same time. So we would travel to Toronto every single Sunday. Kind of life would kind of revolve around the church. And then we did cleaning jobs from when we were kids. So like I'm like 4, 5, 6 years old at doctors' offices and community centers and churches, kind of doing cleaning jobs at nighttime and all that kind of stuff. So
We call that slave labor.
yeah, exactly. Something that wouldn't happen now, but like to me, it was normal. You know, I worked midnights in high school, you know, stripping and waxing floors at Shoppers Drug Mart and that
Glad
kind
you
of
added
stuff.
in waxing floors.
Yeah.
Not just stripping.
Yeah, because I used to tell people I would strip at night in the evening to make some extra money.
Yeah.
That was my favorite joke in high school. I would tell people that. But you know, I loved playing sports. I grew up playing most sports. You know, basketball, volleyball, that kind of stuff. Most of those took a back seat to when I started playing football in high school, and kind of focused mainly on that.
Were you a big guy in high school? Or not?
Yeah. Well, I went into high school 185, which for grade 9 is pretty big. But also like I played basketball at the time. I was pretty athletic, and then I ended up coming out of high school like 300.
Okay.
And because I stopped playing volleyball, stopped doing all that kind of stuff, and just all I did was lift weights and eat pizza wraps in the cafeteria every single day. So I came out a pretty big boy, and then I played in the OFC, like in CJFL football after. Which you guys would know what that is, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I played until I was 22, but I was always a bigger kid. Now that I look at it now, is like I look at pictures and I'm like, this kid's like 20, 30 pounds, but I thought I was like massive, right? But I'm like, this kid probably needs to lose 20 or 30 pounds. It's nothing crazy. But I was always like an athletic kid.
Yeah.
Grew up, got married young. I got married at 20, like the month before I turned 21, and started my business and kind of thing, and just kept playing football. And then eventually just kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger as things progressed. I ended up tearing my meniscus, like, I want to say 5 years ago, tearing my meniscus. And then I just blew up. I put on 160 pounds during COVID in the span of like a year and a half, but I'm still installing tile every day, still working every day. And then found myself like 500 pounds in a ton of pain every day, installing, 500-600 square feet of flooring, of tiling every single day at that weight, like with a torn meniscus. So I was in pain constantly. I couldn't walk it would take me 10 minutes to get out of bed in the morning, because I'd get up and like couldn't walk, and I'd have to like roll with a lacrosse ball or something. So yeah, that's kind of where I ended up. And I'm like, something eventually needs to change. And so I started kind of clawing my way back 3 years ago from that.
What was there like a trigger point, or was there something that like set off something that said, hey, like, fuck, I need to figure something out here?
Yeah, I mean, at 500 pounds, like I had worked like over 80 hours a week since I was 19 years old, right? So like I was a workaholic. That's all I did. I came young immigrant kid, came from immigrant family. All I wanted to do was provide a really good financial life for my kids. Like my goal was always, they want to go to Michigan, they want to go to any school, like it's covered, right? So I basically worked myself what would have been into an early grave. And then at one point at 500 pounds, I'm just like, I know I'm not going to be here long. So I'm just going to continue to pump out and make as much money as I possibly can and treat my body like garbage. And there was a very conscious decision where I'm like, yeah, I'm eating myself into an early grave, but at least I got to provide for them as much as I can until I get there. Cause kind of all my value for me came in like what I was doing financially, right? Like I started a business when I was 22. I had bought my first house at 20. I bought my next house at 25. I built my first house at 29 years old. My wife was able to be a stay-at-home mom. So all that kind of stuff was, I felt good about that stuff. But then my body, I was setting up a life basically that I wouldn't exist in 10 years from now.
Right.
And I was okay with it at one point. And then it wasn't like a aha moment. It was just like for a second, I got a glimpse of like what my kid's perspective was and not mine. Right. Mm-hmm. So my perspective, I wanted to be, this dad who provided for their kids because it gave me value. And I thought I was a great dad then because I was, I would sleep 2 hours a night. I would spend all the time I could with my kids. I was always that high energetic dad doing things. Even at 500 pounds, I'm still like rolling around with them in pain and all that kind of stuff. And now I look back and I'm like, that guy wasn't a great dad because I was validating myself by providing them the life that I thought they needed. And I'm like, so I kind of had a little bit of like what can I see? My oldest daughter's name's Oakland. Like at 18 years old, is she going to say, oh, Dad, thanks. First of all, she won't have anybody to thank because I won't be there. But thanks for giving me all the money to go to to Michigan for 4 years. Or is she going to say, I just wish Dad was here. Right. And so that little kind of switch was like, okay, I got to stop. And it wasn't an isolated issue or an isolated moment. It was like I started looking at everything like that and purposely digging into like, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? What is their perspective going to be at 18 if I could project myself through them? And it's going to be like, they're not going to care about, the extra vacations. We went to Hawaii at the time when I was at my heaviest. I was in Hawaii and like, they're not going to care about that. They're not going to see Dad at their wedding day. And that's what matters to them. And that's kind of I started getting obsessed with looking outside of my own perspective. And that's what kind of started everything for me.
Right. So then I guess like a question people probably would think is like, you're working 80 hours a week, you're Tyler, so you're physically working like hard for half of that. The other half you're working at the casino or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
How does somebody put on more weight when you're so damn active?
Yeah. So I was like, so for context, I worked about 8 years, 80 hours a week as a tile installer. So I'm installing tile 80 hours a week. I'm on my hands and knees. I'm, working. And then when I got to 500 pounds, I got a management job at Caesars Casino. And that was just like I run the building, but I was still doing my tiling thing. And so if there was a way to outwork a bad diet, I would have been able to. Like I was working 80 hours a week, plus I was going to the gym for two hours most days. Like at 400 pounds, I was like, it'd be like 37 days in a row that I hadn't taken a rest day from the gym. I just basically worked out. I had my gym in the basement, but I also went to a gym too. And, but I was just eating. Like I was basically just like, for me, in my mind, it made sense to eat out every day, every meal. Like I was blowing money because I have my own business. I'm installing for 12 hours a day. The more I install, the more that I make, right? In my mind, the more my family is going to be better off. So me spending $100 a day, $120 a day on food actually made sense financially because I could work an extra hour. And if I were an hour or 2 hours, which I make more than what I was spending in a day. So to me, in my own sick, twisted way, it made sense. So I'd get out in the morning, I'm buying all 3 meals. Like it'd be days where I was like 30 days in a row, I hadn't eaten at home. Like I'd just be eating it. I mean, I was Taco Bell's like #1 frequent flyer customer. Like I would eat Taco Bell 8 days a week plus 12 other different fast food places.
Even that's so hard to fathom because like anybody that knows when they eat Taco Bell, like it doesn't last long in your body. So like,
no. So that's why I used to eat it like once at least, if not twice a day, Taco Bell, and then Burger King 3-4 times a week. And then, so I was just like eating like crazy. And never addressed the issue because for me, it was never a movement issue. Yeah. People assume that if you're fat, then you're lazy. And like mine was the opposite. I moved so much that I ate so much and I never had to address it because I could always move well as a big guy. And it wasn't until I lost the ability to move, that's when it kind of woke me up.
But your cholesterol is probably through the fucking roof.
See, I'm lucky because I did it when I was young. So like I got
fix it.
And I also never checked. So I'm sure at the height of it, I had everything. Yeah. Didn't have to worry about a thing. And then a year into me getting healthy, I went to the doctor and they're like, oh, all of your markers are great. I'm like, sweet. Like I must have not done any damage. But I mean, I was only 29 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So still super young.
Yeah. I'll tell you as a 42-year-old, the bounce back's a little easier in your 20s.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Man. It's so with that too, man. Like, so now I'm going, you and I talked a little bit off camera. Yeah. Like I've had my struggles with weight. Like my highest was I got up to like 345 at one point and then started to chip away at it. But I think like I'm only talking about me, but I want to know your experience and to answer Jamie's question. It's so crazy how shit snowballs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the shitty eating and fast food and all the wrong shit. But then you put on weight. And for me, it was like, okay, now I'm going to sleep like shit. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as you sleep like shit, you're like, well, caffeine and sugar is going to give me a little burst. Yeah. So now you're even more calories in between meals. And then like on top of that, you get like just, you're so fucking tired that you're like, well, I better have some drinks or I better have some like just trying to fix something. Right. So it's quick snowball. How'd you sleep when you were that big?
Oh, I didn't like, especially when I was working at Caesars. So I started working at Caesars when I was 497 pounds is the heaviest I was that I knew of because I didn't have a scale that went up past that. So it might've been a couple pounds over that. But I was sleeping. So my legit, this is not exaggerated. My legit schedule, I always kind of count Saturday as my start of the week, but Saturday I'd wake up at, 7 a.m. I'd go tile all day. Then I'd come home. I would, come home, see my kids for an hour. Then I'd start at 7:30 midnight shift and I'd work till 7:30 in the morning. Then I'd come home. I'd probably get an hour and a half sleep because I just can't sleep during the day. I would work 7:30 Sunday night to 7:30 Monday morning. For 7:30 Monday morning, I'd jump to the job site. I'd go to the job site all day long. I would come home. Sometimes I'd get an hour of sleep in between, but then I got one more shift Monday night for 12 hours. So then I would work another 12 hours. So at least one day a week, I was up for like 35, 36 hours straight, no cat naps. The off nights I would get like 4 or 5 hours maybe, but it averaged up to like 2 to 3 hours a night of sleep. So I felt awful all the time. And so like
cocaine, Red Bull.
No, I drank a lot of energy drinks.
What the hell kept you awake?
I drank a lot of energy drinks, but I just like, I'm one of those guys that's like I'm constantly moving. And then in my job as management at Caesars, it was more of like a desk job or I walk around. So I just like pound energy drinks until my chest feels like it's palpitating. And then that got a little scary. And so I got off them for a couple of days and then went right back on them. But I didn't sleep well. I didn't feel good ever. my wife laughs because I'm like, I always had stomach problems and I just thought they were normal, like forever. She's like, you're not supposed to like go to have stomach issues like 4 or 5 times a week. I'm like, I thought that was everybody. She's like, no, that's not everybody. There's something going on with you. So, but I just like, everything was just like, how do I get through the next 8 hours? The food, the energy drinks, everything. I could go work out in between. I'd rather work out for an hour and a half than go take a nap. That's just the guy. I hate sleeping. And so everything was just about getting through, like almost like a dopamine addict, just like getting through the next couple hours and feeling like that. But I felt awful all the time, obviously.
Bless you didn't have a fucking heart attack though, man.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly lucky and I was young, but my doctor, when I finally went and saw him, like, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna live till 40. He's like, I don't even give you till 35. Like you will drop dead. And luckily I only did that crazy like midnight sleep thing for like almost 4 years. But if I would have continued that, even that's the reason I quit that job, right? So I was like, I just need to start sleeping and actually taking care of my body.
Money's not everything.
No. And it was just like, it's easy money. It's a management job. I was always hard labor. So I got this opportunity and they paid well. And I'm like, kind of feel like it'd be a waste if I didn't take it, which kind of kept me there for a little bit too long.
Right.
And then, so, you didn't have the moment, the transition where you're like, okay, today flip a switch, you know. I would say the same about myself too, but you and I are both guys that like to set goals.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about how you ended up transitioning to where you are now and lost the weight and how you tied that to having some priorities and some goals.
Yeah. So I've always been a guy who's lived in the gym. Like I was always that guy who tried to chase a, 650 pound back squat. And like even at 400 pounds, I was justified that by I could squat 650 pounds and I could bench 460.
Is that one of those leg
yeah.
What do you call them? Leg days?
Leg
That's
days,
one of those things?
Yeah.
Never done a leg day in his life. Goes and buys a protein shake.
They don't have those at Mavati, man. I'm sure there's no leg day thing there. I've never seen a sign.
So I just I don't know where was I going with this?
So talking about Jamie's terrible fucking habits, and then on top of that, just like
having a goal.
How tying something to having a milestone or a goal in your horizon gets you motivated.
Yeah, so I basically like at that point I couldn't really set many goals because I couldn't walk for like you would have told me to walk 10 minutes straight walking and I couldn't do it. I was in so much pain. My knee was in constant pain. So I was just like, for the first time in my life, I'm just like, I'm going to just do what I can in my capability now. So I'm going to go out for a couple small walks. I'm going to make a couple switches, right? I didn't have a goal at the time because everything seemed so crazy. Because at the time I wasn't going, I'm going to save my life. I'm just like, okay, let me just make a couple better choices now because I'm still dying young, but like maybe it'll be another year or another 2 years. I might buy myself a little bit extra time. And so I started kind of developing some switches. Instead of going to Burger King and getting 2 Whoppers, a poutine, and a drink, it was just 2 Whoppers and a Diet Coke, right? A little bit better, still not, and I would just make a little bit better choices because as a trades guy, like you'd never expect an electrician on day one to work on a 30,000 volt panels, but we try to do that with fitness. That's why I had that idea. I'm like, we try to do that with fitness where you try to do everything perfect. Instead, let's start with something small. Instead of taking away stuff, I'll add more water. I'll add a couple minutes of walking. I'll make a couple swaps. And then eventually those swaps became easy and I just did a couple harder things. Now let's add this type of movement in. So as I started progressing, I had gained a little bit of momentum, maybe 30, 40 pounds. I just got obsessed with this idea of like just doing difficult things because my mind, even at 500 pounds, was still difficult going to work every day. But I had this like sick, twisted, like validation from the fact that I'm still out here doing this. Nobody's doing it for me. I'm doing it even though I'm in pain. I would never just like go home and, and be that guy. 'Cause a lot of guys at 500 pounds aren't working at all, let alone working manual labor. And so I think about a few months later, I did like a fast. I'm like, I'm going to try to see how long I can go. I did a 30-day water fast, 0 food for 30 days.
Right out of the gate?
Right out of the gate. I'm just like, I felt awful. Because I'm a
the 30,000 volt fucking
100%.
transformer on the
This
hop,
is like
man.
4 months later, but I'm like, I felt awful one day. I had binged the night before on pizza and cookies and everything else. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me go a day or two without eating and just to see if it helps. Cause I had known a lot about fasting and all that stuff. Well, 2 days turned into 7, turned into, 14, 21. And at 30 days later, I had gone 30 days without eating. And I had learned a lot about because in my mind, I didn't do it for weight loss. I'm just like, I wanted to see, I live in Canada. Like I'm eating $120 of fast food a day. Like it's a very privileged position. And there's people who can't afford to fast as a luxury. So I'm like, I want to see what they kind of feel, what they understand. It wasn't a weight loss thing for me. And that feeling just got addicting. Like I all of my pain went away. Like my knee pain from that I've been dealing with for 2 years that I went to 4 physios with, 5 days into fasting went from like a 9 to like a 1 on the pain scale.
Inflammation all went away.
Yeah. And at the same time I had a buddy who is a physiotherapist. So he's like my 5th physiotherapist I saw, and we started working together, and he actually was able to repair the damage I had in my knee. So the pain went away. I was actually sleeping on those off nights, like 6 hours instead of 4. So I got like addicted, and I was still going to the gym every single day. I got addicted to that feeling. And so I'm like, if I can not eat for 30 days as a 400, I don't know what I was at the time, 450 pound guy, then there's a lot. If I just continue to chase doing difficult things, that might be the key to this. So a year into the journey, I'm like 402 pounds. I'm like, 1 year from now, I'm going to run a marathon. Like, what is the one thing that there's no fat guy that I knew of who, what can they not do? Or what can I believe that I can't do? Run a marathon. So I made a 1 year goal, kind of dedicated everything to running that marathon. And then a year later, plus 1 day, I went to Hawaii, the same place I was at 500 pounds when I have my, picture and video of me getting out of the water at 500 pounds. I ran a marathon, did my first one, literally, back on the island. So it was kind of cool, full circle moment.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
How much weight did you lose during that 30-day period?
30 days, I lost 61 pounds in 30 days.
Crazy.
Yeah, which was absolutely insane. But I knew that if I had a goal to focus on, rather than just like, it's like when you drive in a car, like I'm driving, the snow was really sketchy when I was driving up here yesterday. I'm like, I don't just try to avoid the ditch. I just look closer at the road and I focus a little bit more on where I'm going rather than trying to avoid where I shouldn't be going. And that kind of analogy that I kind of made up really was the catalyst for like everything. I'm like, I don't have to try to avoid pizza. I just got to make a goal. And then when I'm going through that mental fight in my head is like, will this help me focus on the road I'm driving? Or, is this going to help me? Then I can kind of better chance of kind of, making the right decision.
Yeah. And the snowball thing I talked about, it goes the other way too. Like those little decisions, those little, compromises, you're kind of building up a little callus as you go, but you're also stacking wins.
Yeah.
And that snowballs. Like it can go the other way too, right?
Well, and that's how I did it with food, right? Like today, I like to say today's compromises become tomorrow's standard. So one day I was really hungry. I got an extra burger. That was just the new standard order from that day on, right? And then next time I went to the drive-thru, I might have grabbed the dessert. That just became the new standard order. Like it was always just, I never went back to the other order. So then I figured you could do the same thing the other way around, right? When you're running, when I first ran, I ran for like, well, at first I couldn't really run, but a minute was the longest I ever, got to in my first like week. And now if I run a 5K, I'm like, 5K is my new like baseline. Like 5K is a short run for me, which sounds insane because a minute was like a long run for me 2 years ago. So that just becomes a new standard and you just keep stacking on top of it. But I also knew that I couldn't run a marathon, but if I said that out loud, because that's what I did, I said it out loud because I knew it would force me to become the person that would be able to do it. If I kept that goal internally and didn't say anything, then I wouldn't have to be accountable to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of.
And some of that work ethic you talked about, dude, like I see this in a lot of people I know. If you're putting the time in here, like in your story, it's, 80-hour work weeks and it's building a business and it's all that shit. If you have that drive, that can be pointed elsewhere. Yeah. Like if you have that work ethic, that mindset, it's just about like, okay, let's recalibrate that, find what healthy balance is or find what like those goals are and then just put that same shit in motion, right?
Yeah, because I mean that's typically like you guys saw Jelly Roll's crazy transformation.
Yeah,
that guy is a crazy hard worker, right? That guy, everybody says crazy hard worker. That go do show after show after show, which takes a lot on your body. Yeah. But it just if you don't focus on the thing that matters the most, like people say in fitness and 90% of it is food, but we put 95% of our effort into what we're doing in the gym, and then we put 5% effort into our food. But if it's just a refocus on the things that actually matter, it's like if your roof's leaking, but you got a nice bathroom, like who cares? Your roof's still leaking, right? So if food was the problem, the exercise wasn't going to fix it. So I had to address that and say I actually work way less hard now than I did when I was 500 pounds. I don't tile as hard. I don't push as hard. I don't even exercise as hard as I did at 500 pounds. Like I just am smarter and I focus on the things that matter a lot more.
Yeah, and that's better on your body. That's better on your mindset because again, it's that recalibration, right? And when you say too about how much you spent on food, the $110 a day or whatever, you're spending that kind of money on food. You got some serious options on what you could put in your body, right? You can get supplements, right? You can get quality nutrition in. You can do that. So how did you go from fast food to the kind of nutrition that sees you hit that goal?
Yeah, so it was just apprenticing my own body. Getting one thing became easier. So the fast food was still eat fast food 2 times a week. It was just better orders. And then eventually, as it got easy to make those easy orders, it was easy to just go hungry a little bit till I get home and I can make a proper meal. Yeah. That like 30-day fast that helped me realize like if I'm hungry, hunger is just a feeling. It's not going to kill me, right? If I don't eat I went 30 days without eating and it didn't kill me. It actually made me healthier. I'm not going to die if I wait 3 more hours till I get home to eat. Where before it was like I was a meathead and, you know, in my younger days, it's like you got to get protein in the 30-minute window, which is just crazy and doesn't really matter as much as people think it does. And so I just made the decision to like, I can just go hungry and just get home. And the more you stack the more you stack little bricks on top, like belief is just like building a house. The more you stack bricks, the more it becomes easier to believe in yourself. And so I just kept stacking I went 3 hours without eating yesterday. I can do the exact same thing again and get home and actually meet the meal. And I can actually be more satisfied. Like normally I'd I'd get Burger King or something and I wouldn't really be satisfied and I'd go crazy on calories. Now I'm just like, if I just hold off and don't eat the cookie, I get to actually eat till my body's full. Cause I'm not a guy I'm eating 5 meals a day, I'm not a portion control guy. I can't. Like if I try to eat 5 balanced meals, small meals a day, like I end up binging. So what I do now is I drink protein shakes and, eat a couple protein bars until 4:00. And then I eat good at 4 and I eat really good at like 9 after my workout. And it works great for me. I fall under my calories. The rules of the game don't change, calorie in, calorie out. And I get to, instead of fighting this, like, I got to fight binging. It's just like, I can just, if I like to eat till I'm satisfied, I can use that and work in my favor. I don't have to sit in there and demonize every little thing because every jacked guy on the internet told me that I got to eat, every 3.5 hours in a certain window. Right.
Right.
So I just got to find out what worked for me.
Yeah. What's, so calorie wise now at your current weight, what do you try and eat around in a day?
So right now I'm cutting weight. So I eat around between 25 and 2,800 calories a day as marathon volume. Cause I got a marathon in April. As that goes up, then the calories go up to like 3,600 calories a day. And then the weight loss slows down.
Okay.
What are you sitting at weight wise right now?
I'm just under 320.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that meal look like at the end of the day? What's the 9:00 meal? What do you tend to put on a plate?
It's usually burgers. So it's usually like we make homemade beef patty burgers. I usually put them on like protein tortillas, and then I have I'll do like sweet regular potatoes cut up with my French fry cutter and put them in the air fryer. So it's like 2 big burgers with French fries, or I'll do like I'm a big burrito bowl guy, stir fry, something like that, something that's like big. And then I always eat dessert. Like every single night, I eat a pancake bowl, which is like a low calorie cheesecake, but like pancake bowl. You can tell everybody because this is the greatest hack of all time. But if you get I just get Kodiak cakes and I make pancakes. My wife does it for me. I should be honest.
Shout out, wifey.
Yeah, like wifey does it. But I just do a pancake bowl in a bowl. I get the no sugar chocolate syrup, no sugar maple syrup. I get whipped cream. I usually put they have a no sugar added apple pie filling, and it's just this like 350, 400 calorie massive bowl of dessert. I'm just like, I just found a better way of eating things rather than demonizing that food is all bad. And that's why. So at 9:00, I eat really good. I probably 1,100 calories at 9:00.
Yeah, that's a good one. And those other changes with the fitness side of things. You said maybe not working out as hard now, but what are you doing to train up leading up to April?
Yeah, so before I used to just work out and try to do as much volume as possible and be fried. And if I felt sore, then it was great. Now I train properly, give myself recovery. So hard days are really hard because the programmed less intense days are done properly, and I pull back the intensity so I can go hard. So right now I'm doing a high rocks, actually this weekend coming up in Phoenix. So a lot of training for that, but just like I said, not going every single day, crazy intensity. Just taking the proper rest days, doing my lifting 3-4 days a week, and then usually I do another one more of a strength training day. But as volume for running, for the marathon in April, I'm going to London to run the London Marathon. That'll kind of take the brunt of all of my energy and kind of fall back on the weights a little bit.
Go back to that first marathon, and when people are looking at you show up, I'm sure you're getting one level of input from your close circle going hey man, you got this, fucking push hard, train hard, you'll do this. But when you get there, I'm sure there's a handful of fucking people that are looking at you going, man, this guy's not going to make it to the end of this.
100%. I was 360 pounds when I ran my first marathon. And so I show up and at the start line, and everybody else is a runner. Nobody looks like me. but like nobody says anything because I don't think anybody wants to say anything positive or negative because they don't even really know what I'm doing there.
Right.
And so the nice thing is I got like I purposely picked Hawaii. Hawaii is like I fit in Hawaii. Like you guys are tanned, they're bigger dudes. Like they love going shirtless. Like so I ran that marathon. I had so many like people hanging out their window, giving me the shock out the window. But anybody in my circle told me like. So many of them are like, yeah, there's no way we thought you would run a marathon. We all kind of said, hey, you know, that's amazing. We're so proud of you. Like none of them thought, including, I mean, I didn't believe I would do it either. I'm running the marathon and I don't believe that I'm finishing it until I'm like half a mile away, you know, from the finish line. Like I didn't have full belief in myself to do it. I just learned that I don't need to have belief to be able to accomplish something. Like I tell people all the time, they're like, how do you so confident? I'm like, I'm not confident. I'm a guy who's shirtless on the internet all the time. I hate taking my shirt off. I hate it. I only did it because confidence is like a muscle. You just build it by doing things. You know, do it an easy win. I took my shirt off when I was on a trail by myself one day, and then one day it was hot in Atlanta. I was running at a wellness festival, and it was 100 degrees outside, and I took my shirt off, and I didn't die, and nobody said anything, and nobody made fun of me, and I just ran shirtless. And then I'm just like, so the same thing happened when I was running the marathon. I'm like, I didn't believe that I could finish it. But it doesn't matter because doubt can kind of sit in the back seat. It doesn't really have a bearing. And if I failed, I failed. Like if I had to take a do not finish, then I'll take a do not finish.
But you showed up. Yeah.
I just showed up. And that's the part I've learned on this whole journey is like fail, succeed. It really doesn't matter as long as I just show up, put in the work and do my best.
What was your finish time on that one?
My marathon was 7:37.
Yeah. So you got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just missed the cutoff, just made the cutoff by like 23 minutes. I also kind of dumb because I just jump into things and don't ever pay attention to what goes into them. So like I did all my training, all that stuff, but for some reason I didn't think Hawaii would be hilly, which is the dumbest thing on planet Earth because it was literally all this whole the first half. I'm like, wow, this is great. My pace was like for, I was going to be just over 6.5 hours, I think it was. And then I hit mountains and like heat and humidity.
You didn't remember the first time you were in Hawaii and notice all the hills?
Well, the problem is I went to a different island this time, right? So I didn't know, but I went like you guys, Maui, like where Lahaina was. It's literally all the mountain, and that's the second half of the marathon. It's all literal mountain up and down, and
mountains
up and
and volcanoes.
Yeah, so I was like, I got heat stroke, and I was this close to like jumping into an ambulance at the very end. There's like a funny clip where like my sister's like, "Do you need to go in the ambulance?" And I'm like, eyes are all glazed over, and I'm like, "No, I think I'm good. Just give me a can of Coke and I'll be good." So she had to lie to like the nurse and tell her that I had she told him I had diabetes. Yeah. I'm like, "Can you go get me some of that Coke?" Like, oh, it's only for the diabetics. She's like, my brother's, I think, diabetic.
Yeah.
And then I'm not.
Look at him. He's fucking diabetic.
Yeah, look at how big he is. Of course he's diabetic.
So now you got the high rocks coming up this weekend. Yeah. Even that, like, I'm sure when you show up to that, there's still people going like, who the fuck is this guy? How's he going to do this?
Yeah.
And that's got to give you some real push and like get your edge up going like, I'm going to fucking nail this.
Well, the nice thing about races is like all of the haters come from outside of the race community, right? Like I ran the New York City Marathon in November, right? Like everybody is wildly positive. I did my first High Rocks was like a High Rocks Pro in Boston in September. And like they featured me on their page. Everyone was so supportive. It's only the people who are not doing anything that are the ones talking.
It's all the lazy ass people.
100%. Everyone else, like I have a buddy who his name's Corey. He's from Windsor. He's the beer mile world record holder. This guy runs a mile in under 4 minutes. Runs a beer mile in like 4 minutes 23. You know what a beer mile is?
No.
You have to drink a beer in between every lap. So 4 laps around a track, you have to drink a beer in between every lap. This guy holds the world record. He's won the last.
Do they have one of those around here?
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me some info.
Yeah, but he has like a 4 minute 27 second beer mile. So that guy can run 4 laps and chug 4. I can't even chug 4 beers in 30 seconds. And that guy's like guys like those. I have some other like who are the most supportive people. They don't gatekeep the sport. I have people who online chirp and go like, over a 6 hour marathon, 6.5 hour marathon is not a marathon. Right, you walked for part of it. Like you
show up and do it in fucking 7 hours.
Yeah, like the race community is wild. High Rocks, you go to High Rocks, and it's like basically like just the most like bro-y. Like it was almost like the WWE version of a race. Like everyone gets in the tunnel before the guy's like hyping everybody up. There's music playing. There's a DJ in there, and everyone's just in there vibing. Everybody yells at everybody like, "You got this, keep going." People are screaming at me. Like people message me like, "I was the person screaming at you on the sideline telling you to keep moving." It's just a cool community, and anybody else that's talking and saying something stupid is not doing anything.
You've learned how to shut that out then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elites love it. Like the guy who Kipchoge, who's the marathon GOAT, he's the only one to ever, first one to run under a 2-hour marathon. The guy's like, I want everybody in the world to run. I don't care if you're a 7-hour, because at my like time, you're on your feet for 6 hours. Like I ran the New York City Marathon in 6 hours, 6.5 hours. It's like it's basically an ultra marathon at that point on your from a feet standpoint. Like you've been on your feet for that long. Like it takes a lot out of you. And so yeah, the running community is awesome. I did not see that on like my bingo card was that they would be the most supportive people. So I've gotten wildly more positivity than hate anyway.
Good for you, man.
But it's there's some dweebs out there for sure.
No matter what you do.
No matter what.
They don't hate nobodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a few of those things, man. So I'll go back to fasting. Kozub and I did that at the beginning of last year.
I thought you were going to say drink the beers.
Oh, we're also good at that.
You're not supposed to drink beer when you're fasting.
That might be a sport I'm good at. But we did that, and I had like a pretty wild experience doing it, and I'm a huge fan of it. Like, I don't know why.
It's life changing.
Unless there's something of, like you've got some illness where it might be diabetes or something where you have to watch. Like, you should try that shit.
Yeah,
it's free. You can do it right now.
Yeah.
And
it's cheap.
And it's cheap. You're
cheap. You know how much money I saved fasting for 30 days?
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
You could figure that out, man.
Yeah.
It's $3,000. So basically when we did it, it was hard.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like you. I love to eat. Like I'm never full, and like I'm just a foodie. I love to eat. But when I was doing it, I'm like, okay, this is neat. And I had these little check-in moments. And I remember one time driving home from a restaurant because I had to go to this. It was a family dinner. I didn't want to miss it. Drank club soda the whole time. Mm-hmm. I was driving home in the snow. I was about 3 days into the fast at this point, and it was snowing outside. And I had this moment of clarity that was like, I could see every snowflake in detail, and I could hear the tires going through the snow. And I just had this like total moment of clarity. And I'm like, I wonder if that's like, it's probably survival instinct kicking in. It's probably like, okay, you better go hunt something, or you better go find a food source or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible moment. And then the big thing for me too was, I lost some weight doing this, but I had the same thing with the inflammation drop down.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I was carrying. Like you could see it in my face. Like I literally shrunk up during that period. So it was a great reset. And then that kicked off ours, because last year I ran a half marathon, which I told you before, like I fucking hate running. Like if there's one thing that I don't want to do, it's running.
Yeah.
And I was last year one and done. Like I might go do one with Oscar this year because he's going out to do a 5K. So I might go do that just to support him. But
that's a warm up. That's where he starts. That's a warm up.
There's any running, you run a mile is great. 5K is right. Anything is
and I try and like, I'm still a big dude. I'm 290 pounds. I still try and do a 5K in sub 30. So like that's my pace on those, and it's not impressive. But
like in 30 days.
I do it in a month.
30 minute 5K is fast.
Yeah,
For 290er, I don't have a 30-minute 5K.
Yeah, I'm gassed at the end, but I can do it. So it's all relative. And then my half marathon time, I was like almost 220. So again, like super hard and tired, and but it was fun. It was great to do it, man. Great
it's cool. Like the energy when the runner's high is wild. Like the runner's high you get crossing the finish line is pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's fun to do it, man. And I think you just got to figure some shit out. And I think you got to go as you learn. Like, I think you got to go and just do shit and find community too. Like, that's the other thing. I had that exact same experience too. Cause I'm a way bigger dude than most of the guys that were at the start line for that. And it was the same thing. It was all positivity. It was all, we're going to go get it done. And then same thing with gym culture too, man. I know there's some people that I talk to that are kind of intimidated when they're out of shape to go to the gym. And it's like, no, trust me, you just got to go. Like, and there's guys, and I'm sure you're the same as me. Like, I'm never going to laugh at somebody at the gym. I'm never going to throw shade. If anything, it's the opposite. If I see you're struggling.
I went with you to the gym once.
Well, you're fucking.
You skip legs.
Yeah, I made him do a leg day. And I'm like, well, man, fuck you. I know you. So, that sense of community is out there if you just kind of put yourself out there. And sometimes the more you put yourself out there, the more positive it gets, which is like kind of counterintuitive, right?
And you will get sometimes like the losers. You will get like people go like, it's intimidating. Yeah, it is intimidating. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You might get someone like, I might get somebody that laughs at me running shirtless, and that's the reality of it. But at the end of the day, they laughed at me. And like, it seems like the end of the world, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to stop living my life. And for a while I did, and I stopped living the life that I wanted to live because I was worried about public opinion and other people. And I just, I'm just like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
And if that's their coping mechanism, let it be their coping mechanism.
It says way more. And that's why like people ask me all the time, like, doesn't that bother you on your social media, like hater comments? I'm like, it says so much more about that person than it does about me. Like you could,
Absolutely.
I've never had a comment that like just made me like, I got buddies in the weight loss community who are posting or even much, much bigger than I am in the social media world, have more followers. And they're like, they'll lose sleep for 2 days over a comment. And I'm like, dude, like I can see how sad they are through their comment. Like the more outrageous the words are that they're saying, the more I'm like, your life probably sucks. Yeah. And if this is the way you need to do, especially from a burner account, like you can't get punched in the face when you have a burner account, right? So it's sad. That's why it never bothers me ever.
Good. Yeah. That's awesome.
So go back to as you're going through this weight loss journey, making all these great changes. Physically, we've talked about it. What about like the mental side of things? Like, how do you keep yourself in check through that? And what do you do to take care of your mental health?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a process. Like at 500 pounds, I had basically the worst mental health you can get. At 500 pounds, I was trying to eat myself into earlier grave. And then to be honest, tried some attempts to take myself out like in the moment too. Right. So I basically needed an overhaul on everything. But I did the same approach that I did with my physical health, with my mental health. Like when I first started running, it wasn't because I believed in myself or I loved myself, anything like that. I was just pissed off. I was mad about the way that my life was. And I just said, I'm going to go do something that's going to cause me, to be in pain, to suffer through it, right? Because this is the position I put myself in, right? I take full responsibility for how I got to the way I got. And so as I started to kind of build my confidence and hit some goals and stuff like that, that slowly became less of hatred and more of loving myself and trying to treat, because before it was just like the pain of running and the pain of lifting felt great because at least there was some sort of pain. That was another dopamine fix, right? And so I just got obsessed with the process. Okay, what can I look at today? What can I look up in my mental health today? How can I start rewiring my perspective a little bit more? And that's just been a process throughout the whole thing. Like the exact same process I've done with my physical, I've done with my mental. And my wife always laughs at me because like I'm like one of the only couples whose wife that I know of, the wife never nags. Like my wife never nags me because she's like, I never have to go and point at things in your life that you have to fix because you come to me once a week and say, hey, you know how I did this thing last week? I think I was doing it from a place of like, an underlining selfish reason. And I just want to talk because I got obsessed with like digging deep for the reasons why I was doing stuff. And it's just made me 10 times more healthy and 10 times my perspective just way better.
How's that been with the kiddos? Like they've watched that. How are they feeling about things? What kind of conversations have you had with them?
Yeah. So one of the things I did as like a dad is like, one of the things that I've always wanted, I'm a protector. I'm this dad who wants to take care of them. And one of the things, cause I have daughters, so daughters will change you if you let them change you. And so like, I used to try to like make my daughters have mental like health and strength like I did. So like they would come home and some kid said something to them at this, at 5 years old. And I'm like, just don't let it bother you. Or, would kind of speak again and say, hey, but you are beautiful. You are amazing. And I thought I was doing the right thing. And then I kind of, as I dug deeper into my daughter's perspective, like that is amazing. I do got to speak life and things into my daughter, but I'm saying, what does my daughter need right now? Does she need me to constantly correct her perspective as if she's like a fully developed adult and say, hey, listen, don't let it bother you? Or does my daughter just need me to go, hey, I understand how that feels. I understand that it's the pain. I understand that makes you upset. I'm here to be available for you to talk to. Right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to make my daughter a perfect behaved human or make her a fully developed, person now. What I'm trying to do is make that connection available. So as she turns 16, 17, 18 into adulthood, that she now knows that dad's a safe place who validates the things. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, my kids can just run rampant and I don't have to discipline them. I'm definitely a disciplinarian. But when my kid comes to me, I don't want to sit there and correct every single feeling that they have and not let them sit in it. Because that's what I think I should do. I think I should constantly correct. If I'm upset, I got to just be happy. Oh, let me give you this treat to be happy because that's what I always did. But I'm like, my kids just need to know that I'm available to be with them and mentor them as they get older. That's way more important than kind of correcting what they're feeling in the moment. And that's kind of like been a massive change for me is like, I look outside my perspective. What does this kid need now? Because you got a generation of people our age now who don't talk to their parents, who have gone no contact, all this crazy stuff because they might have been corrected and taught and, you know, had this, but they never built a relationship with their parents that exceeded this like authoritative figure. Right. So I want my kids to be able to kind of connect and approach me for anything. That's more important than them kind of behaving.
Yeah. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Super powerful.
And then, you know, and I know your kids are young, and congrats again on your newborn.
Thank you.
Fast forward a couple years, your kids are sitting right there, and we asked them, tell us about your dad. What's the legacy piece you want them to say?
I want them to know dad came back from rock bottom. Like I've been very open with my kids. Obviously there's details I don't tell my kids. But I want my kids to see they're lucky because out of all the people that follow me and all the people that are watching this journey, they got a front row seat to go, okay, this guy can come back from basically the farthest you could possibly go. Right. And so I don't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter what situation I find myself in today, whether that's financial, whether that's whatever. Dad built a legacy of, it doesn't matter where you started, it matters where you're going. And that's what I want from them. I want them to know that life is messy, life is hard. They're not gonna be perfect. They're gonna go through struggles, but they can always kind of come back because dad did it first.
And then how about your dad? So super hardworking guy, big family guy. What's his legacy piece?
Yeah. So my dad's like a courageous guy. Like both my parents, they escaped communism. You know, Faith. My dad's a pastor. Faith is very much a driver in the family. They had 9 kids. They were very much like we'll just make it happen. Like my parents, like you tell anybody that they had 9 kids, escaped a communist country, got smuggled out. You know, they had to leave 2 kids behind at one point, you know, when they first left because they couldn't say bye to anybody. They just left. They're getting smuggled with mobsters. You know, my sister's drinking mud water in a ditch when she's 9 months old because, you know, the cops are kind of going over top of the ditch and she was crying as a baby. So they scooped up mud water, gave it to her. Like my parents just like, they got to this country. My dad is now, has a doctorate degree in theology. My mom started a business. It's just like they made it happen against all odds. Everyone else would have counted it out. Everyone else would have made some sort of excuses. At least my parents are like, they just made it happen. They went and they grinded and they worked really hard, and that's a legacy. And I hope to take that hard work mentality and now take it and evolve it to like hard work, but also let's now, take care of ourselves too, right? Because my parents are very much like that. Everyone else kind of gets the best and we'll give ourselves the worst, right? And we won't take care of ourselves, but we'll take care of everybody else because they're very serving and loving and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm going, loving my kids is loving myself because that's how I'm around for longer, right? And so that's kind of the legacy that I hope to take that hardworking, evolve it, and then my kids will take that and become even better. And that's every dad's dream, right? Is their kids just turn out way better than they are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. And so look forward a little bit, man. We know you got High Rocks coming up.
Yeah.
What's fitness look like, and where do you want to be in 12 months, 24 months? Like what do you got on the horizon?
Yeah, so like my plan is to drop the last like kind of 70 pounds that I'm gonna just kind of on this journey. I mean, I'm sure I'll drop weight farther than that, but I'm gonna get down to about 250 pounds. And I got some like wild goals. I wanna, we in June we ran me and a couple buddies ran across Tennessee, or attempted to run across Tennessee. To raise awareness for a girl named Callie. And so we're doing that again. We kind of just want to do these really long runs. Like on 11 days notice, I found these guys were running across Tennessee and I hadn't trained for it. And I'm like, I'll just hang for as long as I possibly can. And ended up making 82 miles out of the 175 miles. Ended up in Tennessee at the ER. They thought I had a blood clot potentially. But it was like such a cool experience. And I just want to continue to keep pushing my body and to see if I can use my body to now raise, awareness or build belief in somebody else. It's all just about the reason I didn't I'm just gonna go in the gym and walk every day on an incline and which is much better for fat loss and much more sustainable and, eat in a super low calorie deficit and drop all of my weight super fast is because I wanted to kind of say, this is what my body can do while it's at where it's at. I can do amazing things in the pursuit of getting better. Right. And that's why you see me as a guy who's, I get all the time. People go like, it's so dangerous for you to run at your size. I'm like, I do it multiple days a week and I don't get injured. I haven't been injured in a couple of years, right? Other than I did something stupid in September and got hurt a little bit, but I do handstand push-ups and I'm doing body weight dips. I'm doing handstand push-ups at 370 pounds and people are like, you shouldn't do that. It's going to destroy your shoulder. And I'm like, I know a little bit more about my body and the capabilities of it, but I want to be able to do amazing things where I'm at. Because I don't want people, when you put food in the oven, you don't put it in that's already cooked. It gets in the oven to cook. And so I don't need to be perfect before I start trying and becoming somebody that I'm really proud of. And that's kind of been the whole process. So dropping the last, 70 pounds this year, I have a little redemption with the Honolulu Marathon. I took a DNF at the Honolulu Marathon in December. I got like super sick and I ended up puking multiple days before and then ended up puking. I only ran half of it. So I have I got to do a sub 5 on the under 5 hour marathon by December. That's kind of the main goal. So
good for you, man.
That's kind of the redemption. And then a lot of little side quests in between. I got High Rocks and, we're doing the relay, the run across Tennessee. We turned into a relay this time.
So let's talk about that's 172 miles. That
it was 175 miles. Yeah.
Jesus.
So me and 2 other guys, Clay and Tyson, I just knew them from social media and then they say they're running it. And I'm like, they're not like creators or anything. So I'm like,
what do? You run for 8 hours, go to sleep.
8 to 12 hours. Yeah. You go literally you get up at 4:00 in the morning, run to the start line. We drove to Virginia, right? That's where we started. We went to the line. We did 31 miles the first day, right? And then for over 5 days, we tried to do 175 miles. And I knew it was a bad idea for me because it was June and I hadn't run more than 5 miles since January, since I ran my marathon because I was cutting some weight. So I knew I wasn't prepared in the slightest. But I'm like, it's a good cause. This girl Callie has a rare genetic deficiency, so it's there's only I think 20, 30 people that have it worldwide. And so they don't know what life is like. It affects their motor skills and all this stuff. So they suffer. They don't choose to suffer on a daily basis. Yeah. They just suffer. They have to figure things out. So I'm like, why don't I go down there and do some manufacturing suffering to at least bring some awareness to this girl? And those guys ended up becoming my closest friends. And, I'm close with the family now and all that kind of stuff. But
6 straight days of fucking.
Yeah. So like I said, I ended up only making 82 of them. I did, ended up by the 3rd day, I had done 60 something miles and ended up in the ER and another one of our guys, ended up in a bad spot too. And then at the very end, we saw Callie with her walker, who they said would never walk, and is actually now walking without a walker. She kind of crossed into the Georgia line first, which is the coolest experience. And so that's kind of the stuff I just love doing is what can my body now? My body was always the thing that disqualified me, right? You on paper, I had a great life. I had, I buy my cars are paid for cash. I built my house, all that kind of stuff. And then, but I was 500 pounds and that was the one thing that I always felt disqualified me. And now I get to use the journey of overcoming the thing that one time disqualified me to, help people and inspire people and kind of push real change. I think that's kind of what I was put on this earth to do.
Well, go back to how we started about you getting shade for being an athlete.
Yeah.
And listen to that fucking resume.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I'm so for it. I just, for a while I was I'd always say I'm not the outlier. I now will admit that I'm a different person than most people my size. I got buddies who have dropped weight. I got buddies who they're starting, they couldn't walk at 350 and I'm running a marathon at 360 pounds. Right. So I have kind of now feel like I'm the bridge between the overweight and the athletic, and kind of my whole mission is take up space where you don't feel like you belong. And, get to the start line. You belong there if you put in the work and you showed up. That's all that matters. And you just belong there. Right. So that's kind of the mission, is just how many people, because there's so many people and there's so many, forget dads, every person, there's so many people with potential that don't have belief in themselves that end up getting into a bad spot and ended up never coming out of it because they think they're the only ones that struggle. They think they're the only ones, we live in a mental health epidemic where everybody struggles with similar things and everybody thinks they're completely alone in it. Right. And people die because they think they're alone and they're isolated. And so the more people that can talk about it, the more people that can do things on the forefront, the more we can push kind of, and it might not be this massive change and, the entire world is going to transform. Yeah. But if 1 or 2 people get inspired by somebody else who, started even worse off than them and was able to accomplish something, then there's really no excuses out there.
And not only do you do all these things sometimes shirtless, but you also do them in one bone clothing.
100%.
Look at that transition. One bone.
One bone.
We were talking, dude. We're actually wearing the same T-shirt right now, and One Bone has been a huge supporter of ours and good friends of ours, and I know they're good friends of yours as well too. Yeah. What's great about One Bone is if you're listening to this and you're a bigger dude who, puts their arms up and their shirt rides up the belly and can't get into anything comfortable, think that fashion isn't really for you because you go to the mall and you can't find shit.
Yeah.
That's where One Bone comes in, and mine with them, I've been rocking their stuff since 2019 probably, and I've gone up and down a little bit, but you've gone up and down quite a bit in the line size wise, right?
Yeah, like 2019, I think I was in a 2, and then I blew up at the COVID era, which is like 2021. So my biggest I have is a 5. Which I still have, which crazy enough, like these bullet tees, they still look brand new. I have, because every fat guy knows that you have that one shirt you wash 10 times more than any other shirt because that's your like good feel, your good fitting shirt. And so I've washed that thing 400 times and it still looks brand new. And so, yeah, I have a 5 and now I'm down to I'm currently wearing a 3, but I should be in a 2. It's a little bit big on me now, but yeah, I like those guys. I like to rock with local guys and for me, like I'm all torso. So for me, it helps. Like I'm like 6 feet tall, but I got 30 is my leg length. So I'm super short legs. So for me, it works out great.
That's funny. You were talking about like other people see you when you're doing stuff and you're doing these runs and you're like, man, but you don't even like sweat. And it's like, yeah, it's the fucking clothes, man.
I have, that's the number one comment I have on this one video. One of my first videos that went viral was like, you're not sweating. There's no way. I'm like, I'm sweating here because I say like I'm 365 pounds. I've been running for 2.5 hours. Everything hurts, something like that. But like I'm still going. And they're like, you're not even sweating. I'm like, yeah, it's the shirt. Like,
yeah.
So, but I'm a black t-shirt kind of guy. So
you and I both, man.
Yeah.
We're probably, was this episode like 41 or something like that? I've worn the same t-shirt every episode. Super predictable.
It's a uniform.
Yeah.
Hasn't washed it 400 times. Maybe 5 times. Maybe 5.
I just leave it here. I just put it on every time I come in. Yeah. I did a couple of the runs. I was wearing a scoop as well too. It's just a.
If you look at any of my races, I'm literally I'm pretty sure I'm wearing a one bone in my first marathon, second marathon, high rocks, everything.
Shout out
also to be honest,
boys.
makes me look better.
Yeah.
Like if you take my shirt off or put this on, like people are like, that is not the same body. Like it does good things for all the right places.
The boys got magic. And if you're listening there, Adam and Jake, he needs a size 2.
Yeah.
Hook our boy up.
It's like women with makeup, right? It's one bone for men.
Yeah, exactly.
That might not make the brand catalog, but and then tell the people where they can connect, man. How do we follow the journey?
Yeah, so I'm Johnny Goes Running on Instagram, on YouTube. That's kind of the 2 main things I rock with. Yeah.
You got a big following too, eh? Like 180,000 or something on there?
I think between the 2, yeah. So I have 129 on Instagram and like, I don't know, 40,000 or something. A little bit on TikTok, but not much.
That a boy. What was your breakthrough there? Like, how did you figure out how to get that kind of audience?
I just started I just started posting up leading up to the marathon there, and then really it was just the transformations, doing something crazy. Like I think I had a video in last year in the spring, hit like 119 million views, and then I was just like going viral, hitting a couple million like multiple times a month, like for like a ton. So I just had this steady growth of like 300, 400, 500 followers every single day for like I think like 11 or 12 months. So it's just like steady growth, and it's mainly just like the transformation. Like, people see what I do at my body size. It kind of is a jaw dropper, like
for sure.
Not to sound whatever, but the burpees, the handstand push-ups, all that kind of stuff.
It's not the norm.
No, right? Like so kind of drops them, and then like, oh, you ran a marathon at that size, like that kind of does it. And that's the whole point. It's like if you go to a race, like there's all body types. Like there's people who are my size. I went to the New York City Marathon. There's people my size running it. There's like, and then you're getting passed by a 65-year-old lady as well, because the marathon is like, it's hilarious. You got like all different bodies. You got the gym girly who's so very fit in the same pace as me, same pace as the 65-year-old, like, and everyone's just doing their own thing, and everyone's on their own, and everyone's just happy to be there.
How about the power walkers?
There's the power walkers.
That's the one that blows my mind.
They look so smooth.
It's so smooth, and the pace is just so consistent.
If you complete a marathon is a distance. It's not a method, right? So I got a bunch of hate on, you can't, because for my last marathon, I ended up hurting myself I was doing a box step up with like 100-pound sandbag, and I was doing a lateral one, and I hurt my hamstring. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna run 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, and walk the whole thing. Well, everybody that is a marathon runner is like, yeah, that's a great strategy. Just as valid. People who are not, like, oh, you walked part of your marathon, your average pace was in the 14. Like, it's like, no, if you show up and you do the thing, like you deserve the $15 medal that they give you. Like you paid $200 for this race, this race bib.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. So a couple things to close us out today. One of our favorite things on here is telling dad jokes.
Okay.
Did you bring us a dad joke today?
I have one. Yeah.
Let's have it.
Why did the peanut not walk in the alley?
I don't know.
He was afraid to get assaulted.
Salted peanuts.
There you go.
And you got to tell the other one too. I don't want to set you up with
The Mario one?
but yeah.
Yeah. What kind of jeans does Mario wear? Denim, denim, denim. Denim, denim, denim.
There it is.
Touche.
Anything else you want to add, man? Anything we haven't covered?
No, I think it's all good. Being a dad's the best. You guys are obviously.
You gonna be posting about this
Literally
weekend,
the
about
best.
the High Rocks this weekend?
Yeah.
Cool.
Be there and gonna have some fun. Got a little videographer there and meeting up with a cool team, and so it'll be fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We'll
Good
follow
luck at it
along
for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited. This is my first solo. Like I've never done a High Rocks solo, so I got to do. I don't know if you guys know much about High Rocks, but the solo is kind of a big deal. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we learned just a little bit. We had, I think you know, Lexi and
Yeah.
her husband
Yep.
Brett that were on. They
Yep.
they taught us a little bit about it, and
Yeah.
then we got them down to. There was a Toronto event going on that we had another friend go
Right.
to. They sure put on a show when they do those, man. They're a big deal.
And this one's like this one's at State Farm Arena in Phoenix. Like so first NFL stadium. It's tailgate. Everyone they're tailgating all on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it for sure.
That's cool, man.
Well, we'll be rooting for you, dude.
Appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate your
Thanks for
time
having me on,
coming in today, and yeah, keep doing awesome things.
Yeah, we'll
Appreciate
follow up on your journey too.
Sweet.
We want to see you get to 250.
Oh yeah, by the end of the year I will. I'll come back with that 5-hour marathon medal.
There you
Bro, you're
go.
welcome anytime.
We'll buy it off for $15.
He said it was only 15.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks guys.